Charlie Munger, the right-hand man of Warren Buffett, who recently passed with over a net worth of $2.3 billion, has a famous quote which he says, "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. He stresses getting to 100K by any legal means necessary is so important because the reason is that your net worth completely explodes after your first 100K. Now, this is due to a few core principles that we're gonna discuss in today's video, as well as at the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you guys some strategies that you can employ in your everyday life in order to get there as quickly as possible. The first principle to understand is that capital scales really well. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm referring to the idea that the benefits or the returns from having capital increase proportionally as the amount of capital itself increases. For example, if you were to invest $100 in the stock market or some other type of investment, you take on some risk, and by the end of the year, let's pretend you make a 10% return. That means you'd have an extra $10 in that case. Now, that's not a life-changing amount of money, and I would actually argue that most of us can actually make $10 an hour doing some sort of job or some sort of task. So in this case, you risked $100 of your hard-earned money and you have $10 at the end of the year to show for it. That's not very powerful. Now, let's pretend for a moment that you had $100,000 invested in the stock market and you got that same 10% return. That's $10,000. And what the interesting thing is that you took on the same amount of risk as in the first scenario. Both scenarios, same risk, same amount of time taken, but two very different results because the amount of capital that you started with is completely different. This is basically the reason why people say it takes money to make money. The second principle to understand is that as you stack up money to your first 100K, it's like rolling a snowball down the hill. As the snowball travels downward, it gets bigger and bigger because it accumulates more snow along the way, and the momentum carries it down the mountain. Pretend you save $10,000 a year and you're able to get a 7% return on your investment in the stock market. Now, the stock market typically returns about 8 to 10% per year, but let's use 7% because of taxes and any fees. Saving up to your first 100K in this case would take you about 7.84 years if you were to save 10K each year and you invested it. Now, a common misconception would be that saving $1 million would be then 7.84 years times 10, but that's actually not the case. In fact, it only takes a fraction of that time to get to $1 million and won't take you 78 years, but let's look at how long it actually takes to get to 200K. After you get to $100,000, getting to 200K total would only take you 5.1 years because now your initial 100K is generating you interest and you're still keeping at it with the 10K in contributions every year. Now, fast forward to 500K and you can see that each 100K is faster than the previous. You're responsible for contributing 10K per year while the money you have invested continues to work for you at 7% per year.